Welcome, everyone. So glad you're here with us today, both in person and online. Thank you for joining us, all of you. And right now we have two wonderful men that are going to lead us in song. Would you like them to stand?
I brought one of them.
Okay, if you'd like to stand, if you're able, feel free to stand and we'll sing together.
Right. You might not know this song, but it's pretty easy to pick up, so I'd love for you to just belt out whatever. Doesn't have to be in tune even. Okay, 2, 3, 4. I am alive with the Spirit of God. 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 I am alive, y'all, alive with the Spirit of God. Please sing out. I am alive with the Spirit of God. 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 I am alive, y'all, alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive with the Spirit of God. Ooh, I am alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive, y'all, alive with the Spirit of God. One more time. I am alive with the Spirit of God. Alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive, y'all, alive with the Spirit of God. One more time. I am alive, y'all, alive with the Spirit of God. I am alive, y'all, alive with the Spirit of God.
But to greet one another, say hi to someone maybe that you don't even know.
I can't hear you. It's fine. We're doing My Soul, right? Yeah. Oh, count in? You count. You ready? Well, wait a minute. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome here.
And if we have any children in the audience, we would love to invite you up to the stage to sit with Nevin and Joe, and we'll sing you out into your wonderful natural classroom. Thank you for coming, everybody.
Join us in Hooray for the World. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, it's a special place. We got Mother Nature and the human race. The world's got trees and bumblebees, rivers and lakes and open seas, mountains and valleys and animals too, and a sun that shines on me and you. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, it's a special place. We got Mother Nature and the human race. We got Mother Nature and the human race.
Good morning. My name is Kat, and I am your practitioner today. I would like to remind y'all to please turn off or silence your cell phones. And then I'd like to invite you to join me in an opening prayer. I know that there is only one divine presence, one power of love, of joy, of light, one power of peace. That power, that presence, that love is flowing through me, flowing through us all. As we are one with that power, we are connected to that divine source always. That love and that joy is an innate part of our being. It flows in every cell of our bodies. It is who we truly are. And through that connection and that oneness with power, with light, with love, with peace, we are divinely inspired. We are open to the whispers of spirit, open to the whispers of love, open so wide that whispers become shouts. Because we are love, we are joy, we are peace in this world, here and now, and always. And I know that this is true, and I release these words. And so it is.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit within, and all we are and all we do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and all I am and all I do is a blessing to the world, is a blessing to the world, is a blessing to the world. So we're down to 2 today. Me and Eric is doubling, but I'm really grateful that he's here and he can play these multiple instruments. So I'm going to do a song. Yes, give it up for Eric. I'm going to do a song in keeping with today's theme. It's one I wrote a while back. It's called The Power of Intention. There's something that I wanted, thought I'd never find it, didn't see myself as someone who ever could, but I know God lives within me, and there's meaning in the calling, the reason for our being is to claim the highest good. It's the power of intention. With God I'm co-creating. The power of intention. The life that I am making. The power of intention. It's the power of God in me. The power of intention, knowing and believing. The power of intention, open and receiving. The power of intention, it's the power of God in me. I sometimes lose direction, caught up in my busy, just when I thought I finally understood. But I know God is in me, speaking through me, moving as me, and the purpose of our journey is to claim the highest good. It's the power of intention. With God I'm co-creating. The power of intention. The life that I am making. The power of intention. It's the power of God in me. The power of intention. Knowing and believing. The power of intention. Open and receiving. The power of intention. It's the power of God in me. It's the power of God in me. Power of God in me.
Thank you so much. And that was the perfect song. If you came last week, you know that we've started a new month with a new theme. And it's a theme that I tend to avoid. Because whenever I say anything about your life's purpose, I watch people turtle. Like, oh no, not that word again. I don't know what my purpose is. So the whole theme of the month is on the purpose of being. And you get to hear all about it. So today I'm talking about intention. And I'm starting with a quote by Eckhart Tolle. He is, do you know who he is, right? Yes. Incredible, spontaneous enlightenment experience for him. And as he has retained that, he's written just copious amounts of incredible stuff. This is one of them. Whenever you become anxious or stressed, outer purpose has taken over, and you've lost sight of your inner purpose. You have forgotten that your state of consciousness is primary. All else is secondary. What I love about that quote is it's just so direct. And yet, I can remember sitting in an audience when I was brand new in the Science Mind teaching, and I'd been hearing for, probably over a year at that point, this word consciousness. And it was a new word for me. I mean, I'd obviously heard it, but not applied in the way the Science of Mind teaching was applying it, which means basically how you are holding your life and the life of all that is. And so, fortunately for me, there was a wonderful teacher that explained that in detail, which I won't do because I have 25 minutes. So for me, talking about the purpose of being and how intention plays into it has to do with something that one of my favorite poets spoke to. Goethe said, and let me get it right, there are two lasting gifts we can hope to have received. One of these is roots, and the other, wings. And so to me, what that means is that the roots that we hope to receive are the basic skill sets to navigate the historical dimension of life that we live in. So, how to not be killed by ongoing traffic, and how to make sure that we have enough food and water, and all of the basics, including how to drive or whatever. Those kinds of things are the roots that allow us to be in life and navigate it somewhat successfully. This includes technology, which is another root thing. But what are wings? And for me, what wings are the wings that Goethe is speaking to are the things that allow us to take flight from our deepest inner spirit, our core imagination, that which brought us to the planet, that inner spark. And so you have to have both. So the roots navigate the historical line of living, but the wings lift us into the ultimate dimension, the spiritual dimension of life. And so as I was thinking about this, I was remembering a story, and there are like a billion of these stories, so I'm sure you've heard one of them. But I thought I would bring you Michael Mead's version. Michael is a mythologist and a storyteller like me. And so he chose one of the stories that is all over the planet. And so it goes like this. There was a man who was out on a walk, and he came across a large egg that had fallen on the ground on the side of the road he was walking on. Seeing that the egg had not been broken, and being a thoughtful person, he carried it to the nearby barnyard. Along the way, it occurred to him that it must be an eagle's egg because of its impressive size. Arriving at the barnyard, he deposited the sizable egg in the first nest he found, which happened to be in a chicken coop. In due time, a hen came along and settled on the eggs in the nest. She brooded steadily on all those eggs, and soon enough, the large egg hatched, right along with a gaggle of little chicks. Surrounded by chickens, the newborn eagle began to emulate whatever they did, soon enough becoming able to scratch up enough food to stay alive and grow. The eagle chick scraped the ground for worms and insects, and it learned how to cluck and cackle, just like all the other birds in the barnyard. Over time, the little eagle came to think that it was just like the others. So when it came to using its wings, the eaglet simply learned to thrash in the air and fly but a few feet before coming down to the familiar ground again. Despite an inner capacity to soar and rise above it all, the eaglet felt more connected to the common ground than to the sky above. One day, the shadow of a great bird flying high in the sky fell across the barnyard. All the chickens quickly ran for shelter. The eagle chick looked up and saw a magnificent being circling far above the earth in the blue brightness of the sky. Instead of hiding, the eagle chick became enraptured, in awe of the high-flying bird that glided with graceful majesty on the wind's currents, scarcely moving its large golden wings. "Who is it that flies so high with such power and grace?" asked the eaglet when the others returned from hiding. "That's an eagle," said a nearby hen. "It's the king of all the birds. It belongs in the brilliant sky, while we chickens belong to the scratching earth. Don't look at it too long, or it will swoop down and take you off and devour you whole." The eaglet never forgot the vision of the wide-winged eagle soaring effortlessly above. However, like the others, he soon learned to hide when the great shadows of soaring birds came overhead. Despite having the heart of an eagle within and visions of spreading wings and soaring flight, the true nature of the young one remained hidden, and over time, any dream of flying became forgotten. There are other stories that end well, but for the purpose of this discussion, I chose this one. Because for me, this story captures some of the challenge we have in living on purpose with intention. Because, if you look at it, the barnyard kind of looks like society, right? I mean, it's kind of like that. There's all kinds of critters around us, different shades of different types of people, and they all have, their way of being. And so we're in the barnyard of society, and it's super easy. The chickens represent the power of society to keep everybody conforming. So the chickens and the other animals in the barnyard were like talking to the eaglet saying, don't go there, because if you do, bad things will happen. Just stay with us and do what we're doing. See, we're surviving. And yet what I know about myself and about you and about all sacred humans is that actually we were born with wings. We were born with an inner vision, an inner knowing of something greater. And that one of the challenges for me and maybe for you is to have the courage to allow that inner vision to take me out of conformity and into self-expression. Now, in some ways, a lot of you are sitting in this audience, either at home or here, because you already did that part. You already kind of went, the way that I was taught, there's something not quite there for me. I need to explore other options. And that was part of that inner knowing that, this is okay. Yeah, it's okay. But I'm not really happy, really joyful about my life. For many people, you've heard me say this if you've been here for a while, for many people, when they start really exploring this, they go, well, the chicken in them goes, well, it's not that bad. And I always translate that to, well, it's not that good. Because if it's not that bad, it's not that good either. And so the chicken and the eagle in us are constantly, in this dialogue of like, hey, let's just, go along. We've got things rolling. It's a good thing. We got enough money. We got enough food. We, basically have what we need. So let's just, stay the course here. And the eagle's like, but the sky, the ability to fly, the incredible experience of being carried by something greater. And the chicken's like, oh, no, don't do that. No, 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 no. Not safe at all. And the eagle's like, but is safety what I'm here for? Do you relate? And, some parts of our life, we sometimes allow ourselves great room. And a lot of times we don't. And so this goes to kind of the core teachings of the science of mind and our basic assumptions about why we're here and how our intention can play. So we think we're here, along with many of the great traditions. We think we're here because there is, first of all, God in us, just as Leo's song said, God in us, as us, and operating through us. So unlike some traditions that have a belief in God, but have placed God's elsewhere, above or beyond, we actually think that spirit, that's the word I use because God's sort of one of those tricky words, spirit dwells within all that is and dwells within each of us. Not spread thin, like too much bread and not enough peanut butter, but, in us all fully, almost like a hologram that has all of it in each of us, right? And so that's the premise. And so what that means then, we extrapolate it to mean that therefore, you and I have a unique contribution that spirit in us is directing, and that contribution actually, this is the good news, if there's one takeaway, this is it, that contribution is inevitable. You already have made it. You already are making it. It's something that isn't like a one and done, but rather a way of being. And you can't help it, but it can be covered up. It can be like hidden, just like the eaglet. Even though he had visions of soaring, it got covered up and turned into just a dream that he might have once in a while. For us, that contribution is inevitable. We make it all the time. Often, when I start talking about purpose and intention, we go to the famous people, right? We go to the people that clearly their intention and their purpose has made huge differences in the world. Think of your favorite person that you really admire. On a spectrum, it could be, anyone from Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, on to Oprah. And, the spectrum of all of these people who are making this huge, have forever made contribution. And so when we compare ourselves to those folks, we're like, oh, wow, I'm nothing. I can't do that. And the truth is, no, you can't, because you're not them. You're you. And your purpose and your intention sets the way for the purpose to come into being. And so for me, since it's inevitable that we're going to make that gift over and over, one of the things that we can really embrace is understanding that our impact on how we bring ourselves into flight, so to speak, our impact comes from our intention. And intention is a funny thing. At least in my life, I've been very fortunate because I discovered early on that whatever my contribution was, it had something to do with spirituality. And so I aimed myself with intention and just started following different things until I found something that allowed me to live from that place. And that's an ongoing journey, actually. But even if I hadn't been so fortunate, what's true about every person's experience, and that's a radical thing to say, every person, but true, I think, that our intention set in motion allows our contribution to actually manifest itself more broadly, more fully, more consciously and deliberately. So what is intention? Well, in the context I'm speaking to, what it means to me is that we take the time to actually decide on a regular basis how we want to be in the world and what we want to do with that beingness. And unfortunately, you would think that a lot of people would want to soar. But I don't know how you encounter society. It doesn't look that way to me. It looks like a lot of people are much more comfortable in conformity and sort of saying to themselves, well, it's not that bad, I'm okay just the way I am, which is fine. It's a stage of development, but are you ready to be even more than you've been? It's the question I ask myself. And as soon as I ask that question, I don't know what it does for you, but ask right now. Ask yourself, am I ready to be even more than I've been? Just ask yourself. If you're like me, the very first thing that comes up is, what do you mean? Well, would that mean I'd have to, risk? What would I have to do? And all of a sudden the mind is like, well, there's conditions. Well, maybe. It depends. How much do I have to do, and what would it take? And I don't know if I have enough, and what if I fail? And did anybody else have that just instantaneous? I don't think I'm the only one. And so intention is the place that we can arrive where we find ourselves kind of momentarily detaching from all that fear talk, that worry talk, that want to know it before it even happens talk. And intention is simply saying, this is what I want. This is what I want to try. This is what I want to bring forward. This is how I want to be. And it can be anything, anything at all. But the point is it's detached from that. And why is that important? Well, we understand that there is this onboard spirit that is deeply present and seeking to bring forward into our life our deeply held intentions. If we have an intention that is laden with fear or worry or wanting to have it all figured out, that spirit gets a mixed message. It's like, well, I want this, but, and it can't do anything. Have you noticed that? As soon as we put but in a sentence, it just sort of stops everything. And so we detach all that. It's not that it's not valid. It's totally valid to be afraid when we're about to step out and spread our wings in ways we haven't ever tried. That's valid. But it's not relevant, if you will, to setting an intention. Because what happens is when we actually can put that over there for now and say, yeah, I know, but this is how I want to be. This is how I want to bring myself into life. This is how I want to spread my wings now. And that's all. There's no other message attached to it. Then the spirit that is directing us, in us, through us, and as us, has a clear path to go, oh, that's what you want. Oh, okay. And it begins right away, which brings up the fear, so we put it back down. Right away it begins to seek to create that by means of us. And so the fear will come back, and that's okay. Whenever you're on the green growing edge of your own becoming, fear is a part of that. It just is. It's a companion. And we don't have to get reactive about it. It's like, oh yeah, hi fear. I know you're trying to protect me. It's okay. I said I wanted this and I'm doing it. So this coming into being is a lifelong thing. And the clearer we are with who we want to become, and the clearer we are in speaking that into our being, into ourselves, the clearer the path is for the spirit that we are to find ways to show that up, to have it become manifested. And when I was younger, I used to think about the nature television shows that my mom and dad would put us in front of when they went out for a date. It was a big treat to have a TV dinner and watch Wild Kingdom. So we'd be sitting there, and I'm still a little squeamish about how nature cycles. And so I'd be sitting there with my little turkey dinner in the little Swanson tray going, And so when I start setting intention and I start moving forward, there's a point to that story. What happens is I start being invited into changing, and the fear becomes very large because it means that I have to change. And the chicken in me goes, really? Do we really need to do this? I mean, it's really not that bad. And it gets loud, the voice gets louder and louder, the chicken voice. And the eagle's like, well, I know, but I really wanted to, but I don't remember why I wanted to because now I'm just totally petrified. So when I was watching those videos, what I realized is that those big cats, what they did is they snuck up on what they were going to eat. And they laid low and they waited. So I began to say to myself, listen, just for right now, we're going to keep going forward, and I'm going to be like a big cat. And I'm going to say that my own becoming is where I want to be. It's what I want to eat. And it's what I want to experience. It's what I want to have. And so I'm just going to really focus my intention without worrying about the fear thing. I'm just going to be with this. And I began to pretend in my younger years that I was a cat, like I was a big cat, and that my intention that was starting to manifest was my prey, and that I was going for it, and I was going to be really focused on what happened next, so that the fear had nowhere to go, no place to be. In this time in my life, that analogy maybe isn't quite how I would think of it, and yet it's effective, because for me what it means is chicken doesn't get a voice here. No chicken talk, no scritchy scratchy, no conformity, none of that. You know, we just don't, right now, no. Instead, what's trying to be birthed are my wings in this new endeavor, whatever it is. And so it can be anything, actually. I'm not just talking about these grandiose dealios. I'm talking about maybe some of you in this time really want to dedicate yourself to an eating plan, or to financial attention, or to really getting into shape, or to all the historical dimension things that doing those things would help us navigate, and at a higher level would help us allow something greater to show up. Those are all fine. And we fail oftentimes because of the chicken in us, not the eagle. The eagle says, I want to be, the chicken says, why don't we just be like we are now? The eagle says, I want to be, the chicken says, but it's so much safer here in the barnyard. And the eagle says, but safety is not why I was born. The chicken says, how do you know? At least if you have those two voices in your mind, like I do. So to leave you with this, your purpose is inevitably showing up in the world. And if you look back through your life, you can see it. If you're paying attention, you can see how consistently you've brought something that was not chicken talk into some sort of expression. Not necessarily grandiose, but very much your true self coming out. Maybe you were the kid in the class that when the bullies picked on someone, you were the one that stood up or comforted the person that was picked on. Maybe you were the one that just naturally seemed to be really aware of how people were and could sort of insert yourself to assist them in whatever was going on. Maybe at work you were the one that had the brilliant ideas that took people out of conformity and kind of kept presenting a new vision. I don't know what it was for you. What I do know, it's part of your gift. It's part of the eagle. And that we have the opportunity to soar, no matter what our age, from the very, very youngest to all the way until our death. And so it's important to contemplate and to set intention without chicken voices holding it back. So what would be your intention? If you were just sitting here talking to me and you were looking at where you are in your life right now, what is your intention? What would really carry you into a soaring place? Notice the fear wants to come up, but just what is it? And I'll do a prayer for that. So join me. Know with me that indeed there is a guiding, powerful love and wisdom beyond measure resident within each of us. Everything that it is available to us. And it holds nothing back. Not only that, but it only knows its own incredible beingness in us. So it knows no limitation for us. Instead, it is always and ever ready to bring that wisdom and love into new expression. It's what it wants by means of us. And so the intention that you have, that you just thought of, small or big, doesn't matter. Spirit, right now, if Spirit was in form, would be jumping up and down with joy, saying, oh, that's what you want. Okay, great, I know how to do that. And so I accept for myself and for you that fear does not close the door to that joy, that there is a willingness now to trust that this intention being made manifest is actually the path of our own joy, the path of our own incredible gift. And so I accept Spirit operating for you and me, and I don't stand in the way. Instead, I open my heart and mind. I pay very close attention. I set my intention daily to allow this to manifest in incredible ways. And I stand in awe and excitement as it begins to unfold in you and in me. And for this unfolding, I give thanks. Will you say with me, and so it is. Thank you. That was fun. Thank you. Our ushers are going to prepare for the offertory. And we thank you very much for any donation that you make to the center. We don't have an outside agency that puts money in our coffers. So all that you see here is done by volunteers and the grace of money coming in. So thank you ahead of time.
Thank you, God, for everything. 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 Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, 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 God, for everything. 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 Thank you, God, for everything.
So, a couple of announcements for you. I wanted to take the time to express my deep gratitude to Biff and Laurel. I think they're here. Where are you? Biff and Laurel, and all of the people who bid for a place at their paella dinner and got to go. How many of you are here that went to that? And I got to go to one of the practice sessions, so I felt very blessed. And then last night, Joe and I had our Ruin Your Day fiesta. Which is why I'm a little tired. And we had a great time. And thank you all who bid for a place at that table, especially Lori Jump, who doesn't like chilies. And we were serving tamales. So she came. She was a sport. Thank you, Lori. Took pictures. Tried to eat what she could, and it was great. We only have a few more left of the Gourmets for Good season, and it's just been a wonderful season of people getting to know one another and experiencing each other's adventures in dining. So a couple of things today. We have the women's group for the first time. We're back in session. September's our start. And yay, and we start at noon today. And if you're a woman and you're just hearing about this, we invite you to go to the coffee hour. Maybe there's a little something to eat there, and then come on into the sanctuary where we'll be meeting. For those of you who remembered to bring a journal, great. But if you didn't, we'll make sure we have paper and pencil, because we're doing this possibly deep, possibly silly opening for the women. And then at the same time that the women are meeting in here, the men are going to be meeting in the classroom. So just before noon, any of you that are having coffee will be invited out onto the lawn to continue discussions while the men set up for an integrated offering for the men's group. So that's happening. And we moved the women's group to the second Sunday so that the men and women are happening on the same Sunday. So you can mark your calendars. It'll be the second Sunday from now on for both groups. Reverend Zena is teaching one of my favorite classes, and this is part of what the Science of Mind philosophy is really known for, is its classwork. And it's spiritual study for sure, and spiritual exploration of ideas, and in that way kind of an investing ourselves in what we are learning, and we sort of take what is ours to take, and if it doesn't quite fit, we let it go. So this class is called Beyond Limits, and it's a practical guide to living from a spiritual perspective, very dynamically and creatively. It's a wonderful class. It's 8 weeks and then a half-day retreat. And so you get to really explore different facets of living. And so registration is happening at the Ask Me desk today. And you can also register online if you would like. And the class actually begins on September 19th, which is pretty soon. And there's already quite a few students, so I invite you to consider taking that class. It's going to be on Tuesday evenings from 6 to 8:30. And it's available not only in person, but also on Zoom. So if you happen to be stuck at home, you can still participate in the class. Some of you live far away, and we've had people from Alaska to Texas to the East Coast taking our classes. So those of you listening online, you're invited as well. On the 17th, next week, we're having a new member information session. And in our tradition, in order to become a member, you do need to participate in one of these information sessions. But participating doesn't mean you have to become a member, because we know who we're dealing with. We're a bunch of mavericks, and anybody tells us what to do, we go the other way. But you're invited to come, and we'd love you to sign up at the Ask Me desk so that we can make sure we have a little something to eat for you, and know how many friendship welcome things we could prepare for you. So that's happening next Sunday, and it'll start at 11:45. At that meeting, one of the things that I find special is that you get to meet the leadership team that is really the guiding team for the whole center here. So it includes all of our practitioners and our board of trustees, and you just get to see who they are. They're going to tell you a little bit about what they're doing, and it's just a special meeting. It usually lasts about an hour and 15 minutes, and we'd love to have you be part of it. As many of you know, we started Coffee Up. We actually had a couple times we started Coffee Up, but the first couple times it was too close to the COVID thing, and so nobody wanted to drink coffee. Nobody wanted to touch handles. Nobody wanted to, But now that's all over, as I've noticed in our coffee hour. Everybody's just fine. And so our dedicated coffee team is wondering if you would be willing to make donations, $1, whatever you got in your pocket, because we're buying a lot of coffee now. And the team itself is actually donating often goodies that they make. And so, if you want to kick $1 in every once in a while, we'd love you to do that. But most importantly, we'd love you to enjoy coffee hour and get to know people that way. Also, let's see, Clara, you're standing in the back. Could you hold up one of the tithe cards? We have these tithe cards, and they used to be in the backs of the chairs. There they are. And there are a lot of us, you may or may not know this, that tithe, give donations to the center through the mail or through automatic withdrawal from our bank accounts. And so when the basket goes by, some of us feel kind of awkward because we're giving, but it's like if you're new, you're looking at everybody going, am I the only one kicking in? And the answer is absolutely not. There's a whole bunch of people. So if you're one of those people that give through other means, feel free to take one of those tithe cards at the beginning of the service and kick them into the basket. Just don't lie about it. No. So our last arts and crafts class, that is spiritual in nature, but also very, very fun, which is called Weaving in Love, which is offered by Andrea back there in the back, is full. And so she started a waiting list, and she actually has another class because so many people were interested in learning how to weave pine needle baskets with love that she's starting a new class, and we'd love you to sign up if you're interested. And Andrea, are you going to be in the back for a little bit? I know you have a women's group. But if you have questions for her, she's the one in the white mask, and she can tell you a little bit more about the dates for the new class, and we'd love to have you do that. Let's see if there's anything else that I might have forgotten. I think that might be it. There's drumming this Wednesday, if you're interested. So why don't we stand, and we will sing our way into wherever we're going next.
One last announcement. If you go ahead.
The mic, that is. There is a pop-up book sale out in the porch area, and it's take what you want, leave what you can in terms of donations. And these are books that used to be in our beloved bookstore, and when COVID hit, the bookstore went kaput. And so these books have been left over. There's some CDs out there as well. You're welcome to take whatever you can and donate whatever you can. Sorry about that. Okay, now we sing.
Let everyone know that if you're missing our music director, Tabor Darland, you can see her this afternoon with her great full band, the Sweet Goodbyes. They're playing at the Colshan track at 3. So I'm going to try to get there. Anyway, we're gonna close out with "We Let It Be." If you know it, sing along. If you don't know it, sing along. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it joy. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the grace. We let the grace wash over us. We let it be the grace. We let the grace wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. We let the love. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. Thank you.